ChatGPT is the worst for protecting your personal information. It's actually pretty perfect at almost everything else. Maybe not everything else, but regardless, there is a huge problem with using a World Wide Web hosted ChatGPT system to keep your personal information, which is why people will tell you all sorts of different things about not putting your name in, your location, access to any of your financial information or whatever it may be. But how do I get a model that I can actually control where the data goes and how I use it in such a way that people are not going to be able to access my information while me still being able to ask questions about how I should handle certain situations? Let's dive into that today. All right, so let's start off by asking the question about the problem. Why shouldn't I trust ChatGPT on the World Wide Web with my personal information? Well, ChatGPT actively takes your data and uses it to become better over time, which doesn't sound like a bad thing. The fact that ChatGPT is trying to iteratively improve so that I can get better productivity out of using it, etc., sounds like an awesome thing. But in order for it to train off of your data over time, that means it needs to keep a permanent log of what you tell it in order for it to use that information to get better. So basically what that means is that whatever you tell it is now going to be an active part of its logs and its diary for the World Wide Web for the remainder of time, or maybe for a month or for a year or so. But the point being is that you don't know how long your information is going to stay on the World Wide Web, and that is exactly what cyber attackers have gotten really good at getting access to. So while it gets better at using your information for productive questioning, like, how do I solve this problem or how do I write this report, it's always going to keep access to the character that you play when talking to ChatGPT in order to effectively work better for the future. That's also why we talk about defining the role of both the user and the AI system in previous videos, because of the fact that it takes that information and tailors your responses accordingly to that. So, okay, if I can't use ChatGPT because it's going to have access to my personal data for who knows how long, what is the solution of using AI in such a way where it's not going to train over time, it's not going to keep access to my data, and it's not going to keep a log of what I tell it? Well, the answer to our question about data comes in the form of what is known as a locally hosted system, which basically just means that the entire call of using the AI system to get information happens on your specific computer. No access to the World Wide Web and only a very small amount of access to the internet in general. Think of your data as being a physical object in the world somewhere. And now, instead of it being hosted in this very, very large building in the middle of New York City where everybody knows where it is, now it's being kept in a small house in the woods. And you are able to put as many barriers around your sensitive information as you wish for. All right, so here we have a new version of what is essentially the same as ChatGPT in that, you're able to get the information that you need out of it. But notice at the top here, this is now on a locally hosted system. And this is the port that my personal computer is keeping it under, which, doesn't mean too much to you. Again, I'm going to put instructions on how to set this up for yourself in the info card in the top right. But the fact that I'm able to do this on a locally hosted server means I now have many more ways that I can protect the information I'm putting into an AI system than I did before. I'm able to put the Navy SEAL security guard that we talked about in the short, right? So this is the first version of it, and if you look at what it's telling me here, if you know much about calculus, you know that this answer is very wrong. And again, the fact that you know this information about math is not important to what we're doing. This is just me solving a hard example using ChatGPT, and I'm highlighting the fact here that this answer that it's given me here is wrong. I even tried to get to the right answer. It's still not getting there. It's basically just spewing a bunch of nonsense because I looked it up, and the base model that comes with Open Web UI system is Llama 2, which came out basically right at the start of the AI surge, which means it has not had the past 2 to 3 years of experience with actual information. It's way less technologically advanced than what we use nowadays. What we use nowadays is, OpenAI 4.0 or DeepSeek or Quen, which is the one I'm going to recommend to you today. And in the process of setting up this system, you learn about OLLAMA commands. It's literally just one line using the name of the model to download any of these. I tried downloading this one, And yeah, it's 67 gigabytes. I did not look at that before downloading this model, which was a mistake on my part, but you have access to all the information, and this is entirely open source. So literally, like I said, you just have to run one line and you get access to whatever model in this library you want. The Llama system is very awesome because it makes it so accessible to new people. There's no payments involved. You can literally just download it and start messing around with it. I downloaded this one, which is 5 gigabytes, which is a lot better for my computer because I don't have a lot of space left. So that's all to say that I'm eventually able to run this version of it. Let's start with this one. So this is another model that I downloaded, DeepSeek, which is known to be very good. The only reason why I didn't stick with it was doing something called jailbreaking, which is beyond the scope of this video. But I asked it the question, and now it is giving me a correct answer because DeepSeek R1, it says here, was updated. Where are my models? Was updated 3 days ago. So yeah, a lot more technologically robust than Llama 2, which I'm not going to go hunting for right now, but it said it was made in like 2023. So that's now giving me the correct answer. It's giving me intuitive understandings of how to walk through the problem. I have access to the full thinking process it went through. So honestly, at this point, I would argue that a lot of models that we use nowadays demonstrate some form of critically thinking or reasoning skills for themselves, which, you know, depending on who you are, like that is scary. And it's doing a lot of thinking. Like, just imagine, right? Honestly, I don't even put this much thought process into math problems nowadays, but it thought for that long, and then it gave me a very clear answer. Again, if you understand the mathematical reasoning behind all this, you know this to be true. What it's telling you is very helpful. And then I switched to the Quen model, and I made my own custom model based off of system prompts that we've talked about before. So if I go here and I look at the sort of tinkering that goes on behind the model, I gave it this personal system prompt that gave the role, the context, the format of the answers that it gives, the task, and I gave it some examples in the form of a PDF that I added to it. So again, based off the first video, which I'm also going to link up here, giving it much more information to work with about its surroundings and how it's going to respond to you is going to make it the best model in terms of giving you the actual information that you're looking for. So I don't think I changed anything here, but notice that I was able to select the specific model I'm using. I tried a couple of these, and Quen seemed to be the best one, although I'm actually going to experiment more with different models, which one is the best for my cases. So we're going to save and update this, and we're going to look at what we have here. Again, it thought for a certain amount of time, and it's now starting to respond in the way that I specifically asked for, which is awesome. And by the way, that now means it's doing the same thing that ChatGPT was doing, only now it's on this locally hosted server, which I'm able to port more layers of security around. I reworded this one section here in the middle because I wanted to emphasize the fact that you can control specifically what people are talking to your AI system about. You're controlling the way that people get responses. So you're able to say you do not give the exact answer, and then I added some other stuff about formatting too. But like, say for example, you did want it to give a correct answer, you could take this section out. If you wanted it to not provide certain information that is personal to your company, you can take that information. You can say like, give out information about our banking system or our password system or our HR system. You see the point, right? You're able to specify exactly what the AI talks about and what it doesn't, which is going to be immensely powerful in terms of having control over how your AI works and how it controls the data that it uses. And once again, for the last section of this video, I do want to take some time to, again, think about what kinds of situations this is going to be helpful for and what kinds of questions would I like to have control over that I can specifically put into that system prompt line. So, for example, if I want to set this system up so that my kids could use it for, homework and stuff like that, I would like to have control over what my children talk to AI about and what responses AI will give. So if I'm having, my sixth grader do homework and it's a core concept in mathematics, I don't want the ChatGPT system to give them the exact answer. Rather, I'd like it for the system to give like an intuitive or, guided path for them to get the correct answer on their own. If I'm working in a company, what my employees prompt AI with and what responses it will give. So, I don't want the system to talk about our specific system of how, the HR department works, or those examples I gave at the end there, like HR, financial, business, security, whatever it may be. And then on a very similar line, what sensitive information my system discusses. So, if I securely set it up to where it is talking about certain things with, I give it information about where we're located or whatever, again, with multiple layers of security surrounding it, either using Azure containers or, setting up authorization, authentication, whatever it may be. If I am giving it that information, I also need to control how the AI is going to respond in such a way where it's talking about that information. So if certain people aren't cleared to know about certain components of it, I need it to list it there. And you can even set up a conversation that the system can have where, you say like, what information should I not enter into AI? And then it will respond with, location, financial, security, etc. So those are the major ones that I like. Just sensitive information in general is a very big one right now because AI is so powerful. We're learning how to use it responsibly. There are plenty of websites that talk about how to not prompt ChatGPT with sensitive information. And so, yeah, thank you guys for watching again. Thank you for making it this far. Please let me know if you have any other examples that I'm not currently thinking of that you would like to discuss more. And I will see you all next week.